Hi, I'm Tom Morgan, founder and principal consultant at Morgan Intercultural. I started my intercultural consulting firm in 1994. My passion for doing intercultural training, coaching, and consulting grew out of my experiences living and working in 12 countries outside the US. In South Asia, Southeast Asia, Europe, Scandinavia, the Middle East, and Central America. In those countries, I worked with heads of state and business leaders and all types of organizations, and then gradually realizing that I was fascinated with the study of cultural differences, I got my training in the field of intercultural communication. I was trained by some of the most respected leaders and founders of that field. Since 1994, I've been working with many of the Fortune 1000 companies in all of the different industries, helping my clients to increase their intercultural competence. In other words, we're helping our clients build global leaders, people who have the capability they need to work confidently and effectively across cultural boundaries, both at home and abroad. Now that almost all business is global, business people increasingly find themselves working in unfamiliar cultural settings, doing their best to communicate across cultural boundaries. So it's more important than ever to understand that whether you're doing business in another part of the world or at home, whatever kind of organization you're part of, overlooking cultural differences can be the biggest, costliest mistake you will ever make. If you're ignoring those fundamental cultural differences, it's almost a given that you're going to have problems. For example, did you know that by some estimates, as many as 50% of international assignments fail? And that 1 in 5 US expatriates sent overseas will come home prematurely, costing companies anywhere from $200,000 to $1.2 million for each failed assignment. And did you know that 85% of new products introduced into global markets fail, often because cultural factors were overlooked? Lack of cultural preparation slows things down, destroys trust, leads to all kinds of misunderstandings and miscommunication, damages reputations, kills deals, causes joint ventures to fail, on. And yet most of the time, people don't realize that the problems they're dealing with are really cultural in nature. The costs of intercultural incompetence are incalculable. On the other hand, when you get good quality intercultural training, it helps your people develop what we call a global mindset and to become true global leaders. Global leaders have greater cultural self-awareness, increased awareness of their own hidden cultural values and how they're being perceived by others. They have greater ability to understand the values and behavioral patterns of different cultures, greater ability to interact more effectively with people from other backgrounds, to have better relationships and better communication. They have an increased probability of completing their work goals in global assignments. And they're likely to experience less culture shock in international assignments. The research backs all this up. The research shows a positive relationship between intercultural training, when it's done well, and managerial effectiveness overseas. But it's not just about international assignments. Because of increasingly diverse workforces, these days, all managers need to understand cross-cultural interactions. They need to be able to create a more inclusive culture. Global leaders leverage the diverse talent within their organizations. So to bring all of those kinds of benefits and outcomes to your organization, Morgan Intercultural offers a full spectrum of intercultural training, coaching, and consulting programs designed for managers and personnel doing business in both global and domestic settings. Some of our most frequently requested programs we offer are international assignment programs. that is intercultural training for assignees and their families outbound on short-term and long-term international assignments. And that includes, by the way, people coming to the U.S. for U.S. assignments as well. Intercultural business seminars, that is group intercultural business trainings, focused on your specific business needs. Whenever you have a project involving crossing cultures, that could be related to marketing, negotiating, team building issues, relocating personnel, what have you. Many different types of business challenges. Chances are your organization can benefit from an intercultural group business seminar. Another area is diversity and inclusion, or inclusive leadership workshops. How leadership in your organization can create a more inclusive environment and leverage the diverse talent within your organization. How to tap the energy and the innovation of diverse thinking styles so that your organizations can stay competitive in this rapidly changing world. Executive intercultural coaching, one-on-one collaborative coaching for executives who may be focused on specific global business challenges and objectives. Repatriation training for personnel returning home from international assignments. Extremely important and all too often overlooked. Multicultural team building for personnel from different backgrounds working together on teams, whether face-to-face or working virtually across time zones. And many other kinds of training, coaching, and consulting programs. And then there's our India specialization. As I mentioned, I've lived in many countries and I've personally delivered training, coaching, and business briefings for more than 60 countries. But India is a special focus for me. I lived and worked in India for several years. I've spent a lifetime focusing on the Indian subcontinent, and I have family connections going back to the 1930s in India. So helping people doing business in and with India is a particular area of specialization for us. That means all types of India-related training, coaching, and consulting, including, by the way, Indian companies and people coming from India to the West. So to sum up, there are 10 broad service categories that we provide. You can see more about all of that in the expertise section of our website. If you don't see what you need listed there, talk to us. Chances are we can build a program for you from the ground up. And by the way, sometimes people think all they need to do is train their people in the do's and don'ts of cultural etiquette. There's a misconception out there that if you're trying to prepare your people for other cultures, that's all you have to do. But that's not enough. Your people and teams need training that goes deeper than that to really help them deal effectively with the cross-cultural challenges they're facing and to boost your company's success. So if you are facing the challenges of doing business across cultural boundaries, please get in touch with us. We'll be happy to talk to you about your business goals and your global workforce development needs, and discuss ways Morgan Intercultural can help make your international business activities run smoothly and productively. We'd like to get to know you, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you for your interest in Morgan Intercultural.